It's Wednesday, and you know what that means. It's time for at least college football was fun.
You guys, hey, you guys literally were that fucking close.
Let
That
me tell you what,
close to beating Dallas.
I am so glad that I went to bed at the beginning of the fourth quarter
Which was
because,
what, like 12:15 in the morning for
yeah,
you?
12:15, 12:30 in the morning, something like that. Because it was like, I got to work and I don't want to watch the Steelers lose this game, which
It that weather delay really put a dampening on things.
it really did. And I don't know whether that would have made a difference as far as the quality of the Steelers' play. Um, I mean, the defense played pretty much lights out. Just the offense gave them nothing, and that's been the problem with the Steelers the last few years. The offense
You,
gives them nothing.
you guys gave Dallas one of the weirdest fucking stat lines I think I've ever seen for a winning team.
Yeah,
Damn near 400 passing yards, but three turnovers, two interceptions, one fumble, and yeah, they still won, but it's because your guys' offense could not get going.
no, and I don't know if it was the Dallas defense or if it's just the Steelers' offense can't get out of their own way. I I knew the other shoe was going to drop at some point. Like I knew the 3-0 start is like, okay, we're this isn't how it's going to be the rest of the season. Because I understand our stretch at the end is going to be like getting hit by a train 8 weeks in a row.
Oh yeah.
But it's one of those things that's like, come on, guys, you got to win now so that if you lose a couple of those games, like you're going to lose against the Chiefs. Let's be honest. The Chiefs are going to run roughshod on them on Christmas Day. That's going to be rough.
No,
Um,
you guys have to beat them on Christmas for me. I cannot go another year of Patrick Starr talking shit.
as much as I would enjoy the Christmas miracle of the Steelers beating the Chiefs, I don't see it happening.
Have Jimmy Neutron on the call with that game.
Yeah, not. I want no part of that. But
Are you guys also the Nickelodeon Christmas game? Like, are you the daytime Christmas game or are you the evening game?
we're. I'm pretty sure it's an afternoon, like a 3 or 4:30
Okay.
kickoff.
And but you were just saying, like, you're in a stretch where you guys need to win games. Luckily, the Broncos are winning in a stretch that they need to, because my co-host Cap brought this up to me. We don't have an easy schedule after week 10. We play we play the Chiefs, we play the Chargers, and we play the Raiders 5 of the next 11 weeks.
I mean, at least all of your divisional games aren't within like a 6 7 week span.
Yeah, I don't know exactly like the span because I know that we play the Chargers this week, and God help anybody that has to watch that game on Thursday night football.
I mean, it's no Colts Broncos. That's the standard bearer for bad Thursday night football games for
That
me.
is without. I think if you can get 100 offensive yards in the first quarter, I think you're already better than that entire game.
That's probably fair. And that's saying that one of those quarterbacks is now on my team. Um,
Yeah.
here's the thing. I
He's
don't.
getting paid a pretty penny to sit on your bench right now. I hope you know that.
Yeah, you guys are paying it.
Exactly.
Here's my thing. Justin Fields, in my opinion, is not the problem.
At all. He wasn't the problem in Chicago.
No, he wasn't the problem in Chicago. Um, and somehow Caleb Williams is finding his footing, which is very annoying for me as a Notre Dame fan. But
I know you hate it, but it's good to see these kids starting to come into their own.
Listen, I've laid off of Caleb Williams the last couple weeks because he's put out decent performances. So it's like, okay, all right, I'll back off. The first 2 weeks I had my way. Like I
Oh yeah,
got
you
a
could
bunch of
talk
people.
your shit.
Yeah, I got a bunch of people pissed off at me for my Caleb Williams takes. But I can't do it. I'm still going to uphold my bet that if the Bears somehow win the Super Bowl, I'm going to be a USC fan next year with a Caleb Williams jersey, which I puke at the thought of that. So hopefully
Hey,
somebody gets
at least there's a cheaper website for you to get that Caleb Williams jersey. But you guys have all the moving parts. You guys have the offense. You've got the weapons and the talent on the offense. I don't think I've seen Pat Fryermuth or Darnell Washington be used like this since they got drafted.
Yeah.
So, and again, it's I think it's just good to see these young rookie quarterbacks finally starting to come into their own. Jaden Daniels, Caleb Williams, even Bo Nix had a hell of a performance on Sunday. My cat has now turned into a parrot on my wife. Give me just a second.
That's impressive. And there goes Matt.
We're back.
So I'm just hoping that somebody in the NFC just smacks the Bears in the playoffs if they make it that far. Like it's still only week 5. We still got a long road to go.
That division still kind of runs through Minnesota at this point. So
that's true.
Chicago would have to fight for a wild card spot. And unless what happens with the AFC North last year happens in the NFC North, that's going to be rough for the Bears because Detroit, I think, clinches either the division or that wild card spot.
And here's the thing, Sam Darnold, another USC quarterback. So it's weird for me and to even think of a USC quarterback making a Super Bowl appearance. Again, only week 5. They're only 5 weeks into the season. A lot can happen between now and then, and it usually does.
Oh, yeah. The Chiefs and the Vikings are not finishing the season undefeated. We're not going to have an undefeated team this year.
I don't know. You hate to say it about the Chiefs. I know you do, especially. Well, looking at the Chiefs' schedule, who do you think they lose to then? Do you think they go like 13 or 14-3?
All right, I'm gonna pull up their current upcoming schedule. KC Chiefs schedule. All
because
right,
they need some plays to go against them, and there's been a lot of controversy lately of Patrick Mahomes actually isn't playing super well.
Like he didn't necessarily play too well last year either. Like last year was his statistically worst year that he's played.
He leads the league in interceptions.
He has thrown an interception. He has thrown an interception in his last, I believe, 18 games, including the playoffs, was a statistic I saw.
That's crazy.
All right, so
and people give Josh Allen shit.
Oh, I was happy to see them lose this week. But so Kansas City's next 5 games. This Sunday, San Francisco. San Francisco is going to be an interesting game. It depends on what form of the 49ers we get.
Mm-hmm.
Then it's the Raiders. It's a divisional game, and they always turn out weird. But
yeah, divisional games, the record doesn't matter for any team. It really doesn't.
Yeah, because it could go either way. It doesn't matter if it's the Chiefs versus the Raiders. The Raiders have the defense to pull this out. I saw Bo Nix get hit 4 times in the pocket on Sunday. This one, I genuinely think the Chiefs could lose. Thursday night, Tampa Bay.
Really depends on Baker Mayfield.
It all depends on Baker.
Yeah.
Is he going to throw 300 yards for 3 touchdowns, or is he throwing 175 for 3 interceptions?
Yeah. There's very little in between with him, but it seems to me that Cleveland probably still wishes they had him.
Oh, it. I bet I dare you to find me a Cleveland fan that would rather what they have now over Baker.
Okay, did you see this rumor on Twitter that Deshaun Watson wants to be traded and he wants to play in Pittsburgh?
You know of any massage therapists nearby in the area?
I don't want him at all.
I don't think any self-righteous team in the NFL would not want Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, I
Like
don't want
100 yards within their team.
him. And about 95% of that is the scandals that follow him, and about 5% is the fact that he sucks at football right now.
Yeah.
They're bottom of the AFC North. They're absolutely terrible. It's funny because Joe Burrow statistically is having one of his best seasons, but the Bengals are 1-4.
Do you want to talk about that real quick? So Bengals losing to the Ravens due to Evan McPherson missing a kick, which
Yeah,
doesn't happen.
and McPherson has not been great lately. He has been missing. I think it goes back to either last season or the season before. Really, since he went out to the Super Bowl and watched the halftime show. Like I
Yeah,
think that
it's
forced him or
literally been
something.
since the Super Bowl that he's
Yeah.
gone downhill.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Joe Burrow, I think, went 30 of 39 for almost 400 yards and 5 touchdowns and still lost the game.
Yep. The Bengals looked like they had every opportunity to win that game and upset the Ravens, which would have left the Steelers alone in first place still. They're tied now. They're both 3-2. But yeah, the Bengals, like teams from Ohio, they're not having it this year. It looks like.
No. I mean, at least the Guardians are doing decent.
Who cares? Um,
I mean, your Yankees made it by tooth and nail into the playoffs, and now they're what, the first seed in the AL?
they were the first seed in the AL, yeah.
Man, the AL was just a weird race this year. The NL, we knew who was going to be the first seed from like first pitch, but congratulations on the Yankees making it whenever both of us were concerned of us even making the playoffs.
Yeah. Well, the Yankees game against Kansas City is actually going on right now. It's no score after it just started. So,
Okay. The game just started.
Yeah, the game just started. But I wouldn't mind. It's been a long time. It's been 15 years since the Yankees were in the series.
Has it really been that long since you guys
It's
beat
really been
us
that long.
last? Since you guys beat
Yeah.
us out last in order to get to the championship. Right? 2009? I think you guys.
Who did we beat? I don't know if we beat
us, or was it the Rangers?
Might have been the Rangers. Because I know we went to the series in 2003 after beating the Red Sox in Game 7. Because
Greg, what if I told you guys your Steelers might actually have the best chance to beat the Chiefs this year?
I'd laugh.
You guys play them on 4 days rest. And the game before you guys, they play the Strouds.
The Texans.
Yeah. So that last little stretch for the Chiefs where it goes Texans, Steelers, Broncos, that could be very interesting to see for the Chiefs. Because the Broncos beat them late season last year.
Let me tell you, the playoff game that the Steelers and the Chiefs had, Roethlisberger's last game, where TJ Watt started the game off, or he got the first points of the game by recovering a fumble and taking it to the end zone. You know how much false hope I had in that moment when the Steelers were up on Kansas City 7-0.
Yeah, I was watching the 49ers 10-point lead at halftime on the Chiefs last year, but preying on Mahomes' downfall.
Yeah.
And then I had to watch John Elway hand him the fucking Lombardi. That ripped my soul out of my body.
Oh, I'm sure it did.
That would be like Jerome Bettis handing that trophy to Lamar Jackson or handing that trophy to Deshaun Watson.
Ugh.
That'd
First
be
of
like
all,
the Bears just winning a Super Bowl.
I mean the Bears haven't won since before I was born. So
Yeah, has it really been since '85? I know they got there with Rex Grossman of all people.
yeah, they got there in 06 because it was Super Bowl 41 where it was the Colts and the Bears.
Oh, it was Colts Bears. I thought for some reason I was thinking it was Steelers Bears, but you guys played the next year, right?
No, we played the year before. We played the Seahawks in Super Bowl 40, and then we played Arizona in Super Bowl 43.
That
Still
was
to this
that
day,
was a fun game too.
that I think that's the best Super Bowl game in history. I'm a little biased because the Steelers won. It was such a good game.
Oh no, dude, I completely understand. Just like Super Bowl 50 clears any of the other Super Bowls
I
because the
mean, yeah.
Broncos blew out the.
Peyton Manning was so bad that year, though. You guys went to the Super Bowl because of your defense.
Man, that was the roughest 3-year stretch of my life. We had Peyton Manning's immaculate season where he broke all the records, single season, individual games. And then we get to that Super Bowl, and then 8-48. That was
Yeah.
traumatic. And then, yeah, the next season we see Peyton Manning just slowly regress. And then our Super Bowl year, it's like he's held together by duct tape and
Yep.
fucking chewing gum. And Brock Osweiler somehow has a great final half of the year.
Yeah, that was definitely. You can also thank Cam Newton for not diving on a fumble in the Super Bowl. That was questionable.
Dude, I can thank a bunch of people for that year. I can thank C.J. Anderson for beating the Patriots in the snow. I can thank Von Miller for doing the strip sack. Just that defense as a whole. I've never seen a more complete team win for a Super Bowl season because it was not solely based on offense. It was mostly based on the defense. But if we can't score, we don't win games. So
I do want to bring this up because I don't know how big of a college fan you are. I think we've talked. You're not like huge into college. How about
not yet.
Vanderbilt knocking off Alabama?
Biggest win of the program's history, which I believe the program's been around since 1915. That's an insane statistic. It's the first time that they have ever upset a number 1 ranked team in their entire program's
It's
history.
the first time they've ever beaten a top 5 team in their program's history.
Man, dude. And the kids, the rushed the field, took the fucking goalposts and threw them in the river.
I know there's probably going to be like sanctions and stuff for that, but let them have the fun, man. They beat Bama. They beat number 1 Alabama.
And let's talk about number 4 ranked Tennessee dropping it to Arkansas of all places.
It was a rough week to be a ranked team in college football. Notre Dame was off, and I'm so glad.
We had it. Yeah, because even it was considered an upset, but Texas A&M beat Mizzou.
Oh, I'm so glad they did.
Like
I'm so glad that.
I'm not. My parlay was angry about it.
I'm so glad that A&M played that well because that makes Notre Dame look better for their week 1.
But yeah, man, wild week of college football.
I'll tell you what, that's what makes college football so fun, and really college sports in general, because where else are you going to get like those kind of upsets that you don't expect? Like in the NFL, you see a team lose, it's like
Oh yeah, that literally come out of left field.
whatever. But in college football, there's just something that's so exciting about seeing a team like Alabama fall to a team that they would otherwise never lose to.
Oh yeah, you think about some of the greatest college football calls of all time, and one that immediately jumps to mind is Appalachian State beating Michigan. like like the emotion from that commentator as he's screaming as the returner is coming down the
Yeah.
to the end zone. Like you don't get that in the NFL, and if you do, it's like the miracle at the Meadowlands. Like it's literally final second moments that shouldn't
It's
happen.
like the Music City Miracle, stuff like that, or the
Yeah,
Minneapolis Miracle.
shit that shouldn't happen. And in the NFL, most of that shit you
Yeah.
expect to happen. But in college, it's just so much like that Ryan Williams kid from Bama too, 17 years old with more body control than some of the 30-year-olds in the league. We're in a very interesting sports time.
It's going to be very interesting come the 12-team football playoff too.
Yeah, and the Pac-12 is getting more teams. I saw what Gonzaga just announced that they're going into it as well.
Listen, as a Notre Dame guy, I've never cared for the conference setup. Exactly.
Yeah, y'all independent.
And even that one year where we were technically in the ACC, it was still weird to me. But it's funny to me that Notre Dame has played in more ACC championships than some of the teams that have been in the ACC for years.
Yeah, I was about to ask what, like, whenever it comes to bowl season, like, where do you guys fall for that? Do you guys just fall ACC?
It really depends. I don't know if there's a set place for Notre Dame to go. Realistically, if they don't make the playoff, then I don't really care. Like I'll watch the bowl game, but like it's kind of disheartening to be like, okay, well, you finished your season on a good note. It's not championship, I've been putting up with that for 30 years. So. But
just feels like consolation prizes really at that point.
And I'm hoping that this weekend showed that no team is invincible. Every single team that could possibly make that playoff will likely have a loss. There won't be many teams that are undefeated. Like you might have Ohio State in there, who, depending on how they play Michigan, they could be undefeated. And then you're going to have a lot of one-loss teams. You may have some two-loss teams in there. It really depends on how it all goes out, because this is a completely different set. We're used to the 4 teams for the last decade or so. And now that the field's expanded, and now you got people getting automatic bids, it's very weird. I don't care for the automatic bids for the conferences system. That drives me nuts, because that means Notre Dame can never be higher than a 5 seed.
Yeah. Because they can't.
But I understand that's the price that comes with not being in a conference, because they don't have to play in a conference championship game either. So by that account, they don't have to play like an extra game like everybody else.
Now, I saw on Twitter earlier today that the NCAA abolished the National Letter of Intent. What's that different to the NIL? Because this is NLI, apparently.
Yeah, NIL is a completely different thing. NIL, name, image, likeness. That's really so people can use your name, use your face, whatever, to sell their products. license. That was a big thing with the college football game that they had to put in place.
So that they could get the
Yeah,
players
so they
licensed.
could get the players paid for using them in their video. When the college football game went away in like 2014, 2015, whenever that was, there were a lot of issues surrounding that. It's like, oh, players aren't getting paid, blah, 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 blah. And that was an issue people were screaming about for years because the collegiate athletes, their names weren't being included, but their like build and their stats were. So it was kind of like their names were in the game.
That's where the likeness.
Yeah, that's where the likeness part comes from, because they were kind of using the players, but not really.
Because I think they were also they did that with Madden for the longest times too. Like with the Legends teams, you wouldn't have any of the Legends named. They would be like for the longest time. I think in Madden 07, Elway was number 3. They didn't even put him at number 7.
And that's because they don't have the licenses for those specific players. Should my Saints start Spencer Rattler or Jake here? And always it's Irish against the world. Exactly right.
Is Derek Carr not playing this upcoming week?
I'm guessing not.
Because if that's the case, Spencer Rattler was very promoted a couple of years ago before he went in the draft this year. So highly touted kid for his talent, for his ability to move out of the pocket, and his arm. I don't know much about Jake Haener other than he sounds like Jake Hager without the G. But I think they should go Spencer Rattler. In all honesty, I think they should go Taysom Hill. But that's
but Taysom Hill's just hurt, so it might be a risk.
Son of a bitch!
He might be back. But SJ, one of our favorite people. Good evening. He says he's also glad Reggie Bush got his Heisman back.
Oh, and he's suing the fuck out of the NCAA.
As an Irish fan, you should know why I'm annoyed about the Reggie Bush and Heisman situation, because Notre Dame should have beat USC in 2005. I'm still bitter about that game. I'm still bitter about the national championship against Alabama in 2012. I'm going to hold on to a lot of anger and a lot of frustration until the Irish break through and win a national title.
Hey, hate, man. Just be a hater. If we learned anything from our friend Danny,
the designated hater, Danny. And he says that Carr is out 2 weeks minimum. So.
Okay, so yeah, you know what? 2 weeks, Spencer Rattler. And hell, you could even go 1 week with Spencer, 1 week with Jake. It just depends on how. Is it still Dennis Allen out there? Yeah, it all depends on how the coach looks at, because we haven't seen any of these kids other than preseason.
Let me tell you how little I pay attention to the NFC. Honestly, like, I'm very focused on my team and like my fantasy football teams. I try to follow football as much as I possibly can. That said, I'm not aware of everything going on like a Jared Bailey. I would love to learn more about football in general, but I just don't have really the time to do it. It's one of those things where it's like wrestling. You know, I really enjoy football. I really enjoy wrestling. And I try to catch as much of it as I possibly can. That being said, I can only catch so much because I'm not getting paid for it. You know what I mean? It's very hard to say. Also, Zach says, we play Tampa Bay, then we play you, Matty. So the Saints and the Broncos. That should be fun. yeah, we I know we had Jack of all trades scheduled for what was it? A couple weeks ago.
Was it last week or the week before?
It was the week before because I
Yeah, it was
wasn't
tag
going.
team Joe.
It was supposed to be a tag team joke, and it just fell through. Um, my plan is, if I have time tonight, I would like to start getting Luck of the Draw from this summer edited and put up. Um, because I'm probably not doing a live one for
For a minute.
October. Probably won't happen until next year. There's a lot going on.
It's getting that holiday season. We're getting busy.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of why we're pushing the next Jack of all trades until December. So that one will be probably a couple weeks before Christmas because we're not gonna do it the week of Christmas. We're not insane.
Oh no. Some people would be doing it from their homes or
And
from their parents' homes.
yeah, and that's just straight up not happening.
Oh yeah. So we can push that off till New Year.
Uh, Zach's mentioning that with the Saints hosting the Broncos in a couple weeks, it's Sean Payton's return to New Orleans.
Sean Payton revenge game. What's he getting revenge for? I don't know.
He can't get revenge for Bounty Gate. That was his own fault.
Dude, these revenge games this year have been wild. Like Andy Dalton almost pulled it out. Could you imagine if the Panthers had beaten the Bengals?
I mean, the Bengals would be sitting at 0-5, and that would just be hilarious.
I need Bo Nix versus Spencer Rattler next Thursday. My friend, that could potentially lead to one of the greatest games of our generation. The offense the offense is going to be something that game.
It'll definitely be something. So, programming note for the Greg Cherry Show. I do want to bring this up. We will be back next Wednesday. Obviously, we will be back the Wednesday after. The Wednesday before Halloween, I am going to be in the Bahamas. So, we're not going to be doing
The Bahamas, huh?
Yeah. Provided that, it doesn't get swallowed by a hurricane or something, which prayers out to everybody going through the hurricane. We hope you make it out. If you were forced to evacuate, please be safe.
Yeah, keep your eyes on very reliable sources because there's a lot of people spewing some random bullshit.
Yeah,
And
what we don't need people just virtue signaling when people are going through traumatic events. It's just like we don't want you to be like fact checking things. It's just like help people. This is my main thing. And this is one of the main things I bitch about when it comes to like political stuff and all that. We should be helping each other out. We can't make it through this life alone. People go through shit. People go through hard and tough times. Please, for the love of God, I don't care if you vote Democrat, you vote Republican, if you're white, black, Asian, Latino, whatever the case may be. Help each other out. That is way more
especially in time of
important.
need.
That is way more important to me and should be way more important to everybody else rather than who is sitting in a chair in a building in Washington, D.C.
Yeah, this shit shouldn't be political. This is literal people. This is people having their shit flooded and homes destroyed. Laura was scrolling through TikTok the other day, and there was somebody literally just trying to keep their mood light, but they were literally sitting in their living room on a kayak as the water level is rising. He's like, "Yep, you can just see the water smashing up against the window right there, and it keeps rising, coming in through the garage." Like, yeah, he's making light of it, but that's what he's programmed to do. That's what he can
Yeah.
do in such a horrible fucking situation.
And it's just maddening that some people would rather sit on their high horse than get off that horse and help somebody. Like, granted, there's not a whole lot I can do other than donate money, and we've seen people raise money for charities. Wheezy Blonde raised like $750 for the hurricane victims. I know for my poker group on Tuesday, we're doing like a can fundraiser, and we're also raising funds for the hurricane victims.
Oh, that's awesome, Greg.
Whatever you can do to help somebody today. Like, put your
even if it's
BS
just being kind.
Yeah, put your BS and your opinions aside and just be kind. That is one of the things. Like, if people take away anything from this show existing on this planet, I don't care if you don't care about for the wrestling, for the football, for the ridiculous stuff that we do on the show. If you take away one thing from this program for the last 4 years, make it be to be kind to each other and treat people like, just respect people. It shouldn't be this hard. It really
shouldn't be hard. We really got people arguing online over, billionaires running wrestling companies. Like, none of that at the end of the day fucking matters.
No, it doesn't. And people hold on to that like it is the only straw of life that they can hold on to and feel something. It's like, let me tell you something.
And that's the depressing part.
As somebody who didn't get it through their head that not everybody understands wrestling way later than they should have, you need to find something to enjoy in this life that doesn't depend on a person who doesn't even know who you are. And as sports fans, that's very tough because
we literally root for uniforms of people who don't give a fuck who we are.
Exactly. Like we root for people who will never meet us, who will never talk to us, who will never even know that we exist. But at the same time, you can also help people who don't know that you exist. Like, if you donate to a charity, if you donate to one of these hurricane victims, even if it's through like a wrestling streamer like Wheezy Blonde, even if it's through like, I know Sean Ross Sapp for Fightful was doing like a week-long or 2-week-long thing of any super chats that he got would go straight to the hurricane victims. Like, they wouldn't take
and
any.
Now he's probably going to have to extend that to the victims of Milton now.
I mean, possibly, but it's one of those things that I don't understand why people want to hold on to this source of like, oh, I know more than you, I'm smarter than you, I believe this certain thing, and oh, there are government conspiracies. I'm sure there's government conspiracies for a lot of things.
Oh, I guarantee you there's a government conspiracy for why water is clear.
Probably. But at the same time, why do you let those things dictate your entire life? Why
politics can become someone's personality when they're nowhere near a seat like that baffles my brain.
It really does. And I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Maybe I won't say it again because I lost my train of thought. But I was trying to be poignant. I was trying to be.
It happens to the best of us.
Yeah.
Instead of getting irritated at politics and shit like that, DJ Mutt King does bring up who's more over, Vandy's quarterback or main event Jey Uso. Man,
well, Jey Uso's got a title and Vanderbilt doesn't, so probably Jey Uso.
I don't know, bro. In that area around where Vanderbilt is, that kid's got to be one of the most popular kids in the fucking state right now.
I mean, I'm a fan. Like anybody who can take down Bama, I'm a fan of.
While they're ranked number 1, oh yeah,
Yeah.
Vanderbilt's in the SEC too, ain't they?
I think so. But Vanderbilt was never like supposed to be a power school. Let me just look at the AP rankings for college football.
Ooh, top 25.
Yep. Because I know Notre Dame, even though they didn't play, they moved up. Because a lot of teams fell. So, I mean, we got Texas, who they're going into the Red River rivalry this Saturday. That should be fun.
Oklahoma, right?
Yep. They're facing Oklahoma at Oklahoma. And that's
Dude,
always
it gets loud in that stadium.
It's completely crazy. That rivalry, again, it's like the divisional rivalries in the NFL. Their record doesn't matter. They always play each other tough.
Mm-hmm.
Ohio State and Oregon are playing each other. It's a 2 and the 3 team.
Ooh.
That's going to be good. Penn State plays USC. Game. Penn State plays USC, who they lost themselves. And then Miami plays Louisville, which that would be funny if Louisville beat Miami.
I was about to say, are the Cards, are they ranked this year? No.
Well, I think they fell out of the rankings because they've lost the last 2 weeks. So, yeah, they are not ranked currently.
Oh, Quinn Ewers is back starting over Arch Manning. Good to see Quinn Ewers come back. Arch Manning had a pretty damn good performance for him, a true freshman.
Yeah, and that could be the future of Texas. Alabama fell to 7.
They fell to 7 after losing. Where did Tennessee fall? After
8.
losing to Arkansas. Okay.
They fell to 8.
Both those teams dropped substantially. I just find it weird that Tennessee dropped less. Is Arkansas kind of a powerhouse team this year?
Arkansas is not ranked either.
Okay.
Michigan fell all the way to 24th. Missouri, after getting
thoroughly
flocked by Texas A&M, fell from 9th to 21st.
To 21st? We're still there?
Yeah, Missouri is still there.
Come on, Tigers. Do something.
But yeah, Notre Dame is up to a tie for 11, which is interesting.
There's apparently a 3-way tie at 11.
There's a 3-way tie for 18th, which is weird to me. It's Kansas State.
We technically got 27 teams?
Well, no, it's still 20. It's still 25 because it's 18, 18, 18, and then 21.
Oh, okay.
Because they received the same number of votes, or the same amount of points of votes. So they're technically tied. So Notre Dame and Iowa State are both ranked 11th. So 11, 12. But either way, like if the season ended today and the top 12 were in the playoffs, Notre Dame would be in.
Okay. Man, college football, it's getting crazy. We're about halfway through the season.
Not quite halfway.
Okay.
About. I think next week will be halfway. But,
yeah, because I think this week was week 6 for them.
Yeah, this was week 6 because Notre Dame's only played 5 games and they were off this week. So they are playing Stanford at home, which I was at the Stanford game 2 years ago. It was my first game ever in South Bend. I was like, oh, Stanford's not that great of a team. Should be. And then, that game happened. So
You were at the AEW 5th anniversary show.
Yes, it
I
was.
don't think you've had a chance to really talk about that. How was
No,
it?
it was a lot of fun. It was the first time I had ever gotten a floor seat for a televised wrestling show. So that was pretty cool. We
Good
were
night.
right, we, yeah, we were right by the entryway. Um, Me and my buddy Travis T Fame. Um, we both sat there. We both got to watch Will Ospreay and Ricochet kick things off for Dynamite. I would talk about Ring of Honor, but Ring of Honor was very rough for the couple
just
matches we
bought,
watched.
Oh, were you there for the injury? Was it Guevara that got hurt?
Guevara got hurt, and in Lady Frost's match, she knocked out her opponent too, and she was stretchered off.
So
So
what happened to Guevara? I saw what happened during the Frost match.
I, I don't know what happened to Guevara. He did a cutter, and then he was just out. I don't know if he hit his head or what happened, but like he
Because
delivered
you're
an offensive
essentially
move.
doing a trust fall doing those cutters, so it could easily be he just smacked the back of his head off the mat.
Yeah, and like it's not like he was doing like one of his top rope cutters because he's done those. He's done the cutters off the ladder. He was on the
Mm-hmm.
ground. He was on the mat. So it wasn't that far of a fall. I don't know what happened. I just saw the cutter. I look up at the screen. I look back and I see like Serpentico and the referee like over him. I was like, what the just happened? I had no idea. And they just like called the match. I don't even know if they aired that match for Ring of Honor or if they're going to. Um,
I would think that they wouldn't. They'll probably put a promo segment in where that match would have been.
Possibly. And I feel like that's why the last Ring of Honor match that was taped um, didn't go on before Dynamite because it was Matt Taven challenging Mark Briscoe for the Ring of Honor title. I feel like that was
Oh,
supposed to go
okay.
on before Dynamite, but since they had two injuries that they had to deal with, they had to push it to the end of the night, which,
Oh, okay. So they did end up doing that one last Ring of Honor match.
yep,
Okay.
it was just a
So they
long night.
so they did Ring of Honor first, into Dynamite, into Collision,
Rampage.
into Ram
Not
or
Collision.
into Rampage, into the final Ring of Honor match.
Yeah. I got to
Damn,
see Mercedes Monet in person for a total of 2 minutes.
Yeah, because you said she escorted Camille out for a
Yeah.
match.
And then that match was like lightning quick. I was like, I didn't even get a good picture of Mercedes. You kidding me? Crushed her.
I got to hear her song at least.
She didn't even come out to her song. She came out to Camille's.
Wait, Camille has an entrance theme?
Yeah, Camille has an entrance theme. So it's like I didn't even get to do the CEO dance. Like I feel robbed. I was hoping for the 5th anniversary, I'd at least get to see her in person, do the whole like that thing, and like nothing.
I mean, you at least got to see her. I mean, you got to see what was it, Britt Baker versus Serena Deeb, which was a pretty damn good match.
Yeah, did get to see that. When Britt did her run in for Rampage, she actually like walked a couple feet away from myself and Fame. So that was pretty cool. You got to cheer her on as she was walking by. And Travis also got Jack Perry riled up, and Jack Perry flipped him off. That was fun. Gotta love it.
What were your thoughts on seeing Osprey Ricochet live?
That was fun. It was a lot of fun. I hadn't seen their New Japan match. I knew of it. I've seen clips of it. I saw like the infamous like backflip
Yeah,
spot and all that stuff,
which they recreated, which was fucking awesome.
which we did. And as they did, I was like, they did the thing.
There are so many people. I'm pretty sure Matthew Botchamania is going to do that clip. They did the thing.
Yeah. And I was very appreciative of that. Osprey's music hits hard live. It very much
Oh,
does.
that's the one entrance thing I'm still waiting to genuinely hear live, because I was there in Denver and they played like 2 or 3 promo packages, but they started him off with his entrance theme. And I was like, oh, is he coming out? No. I can at least enjoy the song though.
Yeah. Also got to hear, since Matt Taven wrestled for Ring of Honor, I got to hear the Undisputed Kingdom theme song live, which that was awesome.
That shit hits pretty hard. I'm not gonna
It
lie.
does.
It can do without lyrics, but that shit hits hard.
It hits very hard. Mikey Ruckus does such a good job with the theme songs that I don't think he's appreciated enough for what he does.
Oh, absolutely not. Like he's appreciated for sure within like the AEW fan community, but like in terms of his musical output, how much music he puts out for how much talent they get,
Mhm.
dude is consistent with good things.
I mean, think of Adam Cole when he came to AEW in 2021. Like, Adam Cole's theme song was like a hit overnight.
Oh, dude,
And it was the first time anybody had heard it.
a lot of people genuinely were thinking that you couldn't top what they did for the Undisputed Era in NXT with CFOs. And Mikey Ruckus was like, let's just add a little bit more of a Tom Morello flair to it. And absolutely knocked it out of the fucking park.
Yeah, Mikey Ruckus, I would love, like, I know he's with AEW right now. I would like to have a Mikey Ruckus type guy be the new theme person for WWE, because we all knew Def Rebel wasn't it. There's a lot of talk that Def Rebel is gone. Yeah, they're
luckily
gone.
they're gonna be gone.
They need to find, even if they could find a way to get CFOs back together. CFOs was no Jim Johnston.
They put together a hell of a lot of good things too.
But they were freaking John Williams in compared to Def Rebel. So.
Oh yeah.
I think CFOs is incredibly underrated because, like you mentioned, the Undisputed Era thing. They gave us that Glorious Domination, Bobby Roode's theme. They gave us Shinsuke Nakamura's theme. They gave us so many during like the core era of NXT.
And they gave us Rebel Heart, the original version. They gave us Bianca Belair's theme. A lot of people still forget that was them.
Yep. Sami Zayn's theme was CFOs.
Yep, Worlds Apart was CFOs. Oh fuck, what else is there that's up there that they still use? I think
Kevin Owens' theme.
Oh, bro, the moment they change fight for Kevin Owens is the moment that I'm listening to all wrestling without audio.
I don't think they can.
It's like Austin's glass break. Like that theme is associated with Kevin Owens.
Funny that I mentioned Nakamura's theme and Bobby Roode's, actually. I went to the Notre Dame game. They played both of those like in between like
commercials. I can understand Bobby Roode, but Nakamura kind of whoever's in the sound team is a wrestling fan.
Yeah, whenever that happened, I was just kind of looking around being like, what? And then started doing this. I was like, I know that one.
I understand that reference. It's weird. We don't have Dynamite on tonight.
We don't. So
what the hell do we have on tonight?
We got an overrun. That's what we got.
What sports? I know you said your Yankees are going on right now, and that was about 45 minutes ago that we last checked.
Yeah. So let me check about that.
I know the Mets won off of a Frankie Lindor grand slam.
Yeah, I would not mind another Subway Series. It's been since 2000.
Subway Series, World Series would be badass. I'm not gonna lie, man.
Of course, the last time that happened, the Yankees swept the Mets. So,
which is crazy because that was when they had Carlos Delgado, Carlos Beltran,
Mike Piazza.
They just didn't really have a pitching squad.
Yeah. Yankees and Royals are still tied at nothing.
What inning?
Just finished up the third.
Okay. So it's still very early.
Yep.
All right. You've watched baseball for a while, Greg.
Yep.
Shohei Ohtani. Is he the greatest player you've ever laid eyes on?
I say he definitely has that potential. It's hard to say right now, but he's absolutely incredible. Like he's doing fantastic things.
He literally created a brand new category this
He
year.
really did. And then he broke his own record in the category. It's like, dude.
He's like, all right, just established the 50-50 club. Let's aim for 60-60.
Yeah. It's like, we did 50-50. Oh, let's go 51-51. Why not? Shits and giggles. Why not? So,
Dude, Ohtani.
I think Ohtani is.
He didn't throw the ball once this year. He's probably going to win MVP off of his bat alone.
Yeah.
And then who does Notre Dame have this week?
Stanford.
You said Stanford?
Yep.
It could be a decent game. Stanford is really always one of those weird teams.
Here's the thing. Like I said, 2 years ago was the first game I was ever at in South Bend when they played Stanford. And Notre Dame had no business losing to Stanford. They did anyway. So I'm hoping Marcus Freeman has them ready so that they avoid that again. Like this is a team that could legitimately make a playoff push.
Oh, yeah.
I think they have that ability. If Riley Leonard steps up and is even more of an offensive weapon, I'm very confident in the Notre Dame defense. This might be. I don't want to say too much.
But you don't want to sound like a Cowboys fan.
I have hope. Like, a lot of it was shattered with the Northern Illinois loss.
Hey, upsets happen, dude. Upsets happen. Shit like that does happen throughout the season. But if you guys, like you said, man, one loss teams can make the Natty. You guys have the chance. You guys just got to be consistent.
And that's the thing, too. Like, if you look at the rest of Notre Dame's schedule, like, we obviously have Stanford this week. We close out the season with USC and Southern Cal. We got Georgia Tech on the 19th. They got Navy. Navy is undefeated right now.
Yeah, what in the hell are those boys on the ship doing?
I don't know. Army is undefeated right now.
Wait, so the Army-Navy game could be between two undefeated teams this year?
I hope not, because Notre Dame plays both of them. So, so Notre Dame plays Stanford at home. They play Georgia Tech in Georgia. Notre Dame Navy is, I believe, I don't think that's the Shamrock Series game. But Notre Dame Navy is going to be, I think, in Maryland or something like that. Notre Dame, Florida State, which Florida State has just been absolutely abysmal this year. So that's a
yes, the fall from grace.
We get Virginia for Senior Day, November 16th. Then we get Army, which I believe that one is the Shamrock Series game. And then
what's
Notre Dame.
Shamrock Series?
Shamrock Series is a special game that Notre Dame plays every year. They don't play it at Notre Dame. They play it at like a random stadium, and they have like special uniforms for it. They're playing it at Yankee Stadium this year, and they've done that before. But they're playing it against Army this year. So the fun fact is, Notre Dame has, since when did the Shamrock Series come into play? Like 2007 or something like that. Might be later than that. When did the Shamrock series start? 2009. Okay.
So about 15 years.
About 15 years. And since the Shamrock series has started, Notre Dame has never lost a Shamrock series game.
Oh, Greg, you shouldn't have said that on air.
Listen, I don't have the announcer jinx. I'm not calling that in.
We don't have the little ticker pop up at the bottom. We don't.
No.
We're not on the game.
We don't have the lower thirds popping up their stats, but I mean the fact that they've never lost.
50 attempts.
Yeah, the fact that they've never lost a Shamrock Series game is impressive because there have been some really bad teams during that stretch. So the fact that they've managed to win that particular game every time is very nice.
Now, weird question, and I'm only asking it because it is, the Fighting Irish. Is this another game that you guys pay someone to play you, or?
I don't know if this particular one would be. I mean, it's the U.S. Army, so
yeah,
I doubt we'd be paying them to play there. Again, it's going to be at Yankee Stadium, so it's not a home game per se, but it kind of is.
Neutral field.
Yeah. It's a neutral field, but it's treated like a Notre Dame home game. If that makes any sense.
The college Army team, where do they play out of? Because don't they play out of Texas? I know the Air Force plays out of the Springs.
I feel like when it comes to the academies, they don't have a set stadium because I've seen Notre Dame and Navy play at like 3 or 4 different stadiums. So they might just have couple different stadiums on their bases. I don't know.
Yeah, because I at least know that the Air Force College is stationed out in Colorado Springs.
Yeah,
that's the only one I know.
I mean that might be pretty consistent. I'm just looking at the Notre Dame Navy because Notre Dame Navy has also been played in Ireland a couple times.
Yeah, I was about to say, wasn't it the first Ireland game?
I believe.
Run to the restroom real quick.
Okay. I am looking up. It's been played in a few different places. Who's the 2013 season? Anyway, where is this? Very much appreciate everybody checking out the show for as long as they have. Appreciate you. If you haven't yet, we very much appreciate if you would like the channel, subscribe to the channel, comment on the channel, share it with people. That's my main thing. We are only as successful as our audience wants us to be. So if you like the show, if you enjoy interacting with the show, we'd like to treat everybody pretty much the same way here. We like to treat you with respect. We like to say, hey, come on in, talk with us about some fun stuff. You can always do that here at the Greg Cherry Show. If you like wrestling, you're welcome here. If you like sports, you're welcome here. If you don't, you're still welcome here. You just probably won't be interested in anything we have to say. You might be. I don't know. There's maybe we gauge an interest for. You never know. But we got a lot of cool things coming up. We got a Jack of all trades coming up in December. Luck of the Draw is going to be coming as soon as I decide I want to edit it. So we got some good stuff.
Yeah, no, like Greg was saying, there's got to be something that we do that you guys like.
Yankees just took the lead.
Let's go. I hate cheering for a team that's in my division, but if when it comes to this, I want one of my division teams to win. Unless it's the Chiefs. I'm kind of getting tired of them.
I'm guessing, without looking, that it was an Aaron Judge home run, but I don't know that for a fact.
So how many bowl games are there?
Too many.
Because I feel like any company has a bowl game now.
Whoever wants to sponsor it, that's pretty much it. There's so many sponsors out there that they just kind of take over. So there are a lot.
Just slap a corporate name on it, call it some random utensil, and then throw bowl at the end.
Pretty much.
How is everything on your fantasy front going?
So in the Wrestling Media League, not great. I am 2-3 right now. But in the league that we're in together, I scraped by to go to 5-0.
I am currently 1-4 in that league.
When I say scraped by, I won by 1/10 of a point.
Oh, bro, this in my league, I won by 0.9 points. I not a full point.
Like, I didn't even realize games could get that close to win by 1/10 of a point. 0.1.
I didn't know games could be that bad that the score would be that close. The score was 85.97 to 84.75. Twas a bad day.
Yeah. I'm trying to see who scored for the Yankees. The overrun has proven to be a failed experiment.
Well, we're so used to doing an hour that once we get past that hour, I think our brains are like, "Ooh, it's late."
Pretty much.
But
Giancarlo Stanton doubled and got an RBI.
he made contact?
He did.
For them making the playoffs, you really do have one of the weirdest teams to be there. Like,
Yankees been such a confusing franchise for a long time.
yeah.
I do want to get back to Notre Dame Navy because they've played each other in Baltimore. They've played each other in San Diego, Jacksonville, Landover, Maryland, East Rutherford, New Jersey, Philadelphia, Cleveland, even. That was before I was alive. So, yeah, there's no set location for
Where the game takes place.
Yeah.
Okay. Jake Moody, what the fuck do you mean you're out? What'd you do? Strain your quad? Oh, this is going to be a rough fantasy week for your boy.
I'm just hoping I can get some, like, freaking good stuff happening because I picked up Justin Watson from Kansas City because I had a wide receiver on bye, so I was like, oh, maybe he'll do something. He didn't even catch a ball. Like
You know,
I don't even know if he played on the field, so I cut him. I
I
was like, I'm not
I
wasting
have
a spot on my team for you.
I have Carson Steele on my team from them. The second running back, Kareem Hunt, and I
Yeah,
was like, huh. Well, this is Andy Reid after all. They wouldn't expect him to use their backup running back, and I was right because they didn't use their backup running back.
yeah.
Carson Steele ain't do a fucking thing.
All right. Well, I think we're gonna call it
Okay,
for this
15
week.
minutes over. We did pretty good.
Yes, thank you, Tony Khan, for the overrun. Um, I am going to try my best to edit this game of Luck of the Draw because I shot it all in portrait mode, so that should be fun.
Oh no.
Well, I wanted to shoot it in landscape, but the way my tripod was set up, it wouldn't get a good angle. So
So
I,
you had to make do.
I shot it all on my phone. So it's either I cut a whole bunch of footage out and like cut it down to what it should be because it's zoomed out pretty far, or I just edit it and put it on TikTok in parts. Not sure what I'm gonna do.
Hmm. You'll get it, bro. You'll get it.
Yeah. So that's gonna be my fun for the rest of the night because there's no Dynamite. So
My fun for the rest of the night's gonna be probably taking a nap.
there you go. That's also fun. So thank you everybody for joining us on this extended edition of the Greg Cherry Show. We will be back next week. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell even the people you don't like. Maybe they'll like the show. I don't know.
Get your dog a YouTube account. Have them watch us.
Exactly. Drive our numbers up. Like this video. I see people liking the videos every week after they come out. Do more of that. It's appreciated.
Do more.
Let the algorithm work for me because I don't know how to work it. So until
Doesn't work
next
for
week.
us. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, you're not kidding. Thank you very much for watching. We will see you next.